What's going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to talk to you about Lucid. I want to give you an overview of just what the hell happened, what just came out, and everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that said, let's get right to it. So Lucid did go down 2.15%. So another very negative day. Yesterday was more of a different situation. So the S8 did come out after hours as well. Yesterday, there was a bunch of 4's that as well came out. All were associated to directors receiving various shares, restricted shares that's going to be locked in for, I think, a 1 year time period at least. So it's still not a good thing. So coming from an investor standpoint, you are seeing a significant amount of dilution. Even though this essentially is locked in and whatever else, it is dilution. So 𝗖𝗓𝗡𝗪𝗪 is that new director that they just had brought on. And as well, they actually did do a actual PR on her, I believe, right here. So 𝗖𝗓𝗡𝗪𝗪, that came out on the 4th. And then you have this individual, so another 96,000 shares. So definitely this is quite a lot. So we're not talking chump change right here. Another 96. So this is 𝗪𝗠𝗧𝗔. So another 96,000. So this is definitely, it's not the best. And this isn't correlated, as far as I'm aware, with that 2021 stock incentive plan. So this is actually just straight up for directors in compensation for payment and everything else like that. So in my opinion, I feel like everyone is getting paid except for shareholders. So this is one of those unfortunate things. A lot of people just like to throw out meme stocks are scams and everything like that. But Lucid right now is just so far, coming from a third-party standpoint, just bleeding money. And to make things worse, it seems like everyone inside of Lucid itself is getting paid. And when I did live stream the shareholder meeting, it was interesting to find out that the average salary in Lucid, so that's obviously factoring in Peter's, I think it was 6.8 million in compensation, and obviously didn't bring up the low point, but the average employee does make $137,000 or $139,000. That is probably higher than the average. Obviously you guys can justify that or whatever else, but I feel like this definitely is not good, and this is in reality what is deterring investors, long institutions, from getting into Lucid. Because for right now, as you can kind of see, the market cap for Lucid is roughly 6.4 billion. So for a 6.4 billion market cap company to only have roughly 4 transactions on the secondary market above $100,000, it goes to show that institutions don't want anything to do with it. And in my opinion, given the optimism associated to rate cuts, that is a very big red flag. So when it comes down to Lucid, I like to be as optimistic as I can, but management is doing all this to themselves. And on the side note, you get a lot of overly bullish people on social media saying that this is going to 100. I have no idea how some people actually can post stuff like that and just be crazy optimistic. I don't understand the circumstances where Lucid is going to go to $100 given everything. Right now, the next big catalyst for Lucid is the gravity. And aside from the gravity, which hopefully is a very big success, is that mid-size SUV, and that's coming at the tail end of 2026. So there is another about 2-year gap essentially where Lucid has to piggyback off of the demand of the gravity, which hopefully is going to be enough, but this is what institutions and just Wall Street do value. Innovation, constant innovation. And for the most part, you need something at least every 6 months. So this is why I've been saying and virtually screaming that Lucid needs to do something with ESS. So in my opinion, I feel like all of this is just not going according to plan. There was actual news that did come out this morning though, nothing really crazy, but it does say that Peter's going to be participating in 2 events. So the Deutsche Bank Global Auto Industry Conference, so that is going to be on June the 11th. And then the Evercore ISI Global Clean Energy and Transition Summit. So this one I believe is the fireside chat. So both are fireside chats, probably going to be about 15-20 minutes. I'll be able to live stream both in case you are curious, but hopefully Peter does allude to some things. It's whenever he randomly does these events, such as I think what recently happened in Switzerland, that is where you do get a lot of information. When he just randomly talks during shareholder meetings and clearly PR, we don't get anything. So hopefully during these two things, probably would be more so associated to the Deutsche Bank Global Auto Industry Conference. That one probably will get a little bit more context. Fireside chats sometimes are iffy. So in my opinion, this might be the next big catalyst and might give us an insight on when the gravity might be coming out. Because like I just said, the market wants a catalyst. And even right now with us being in June, I cannot say exactly when the gravity is coming out. We know it's going to be sometime near the tail end of the year. Is that September? Is that October? Is that December? Or if things go bad, is it going to be pushed to the early part of next year? Like, I feel like if they gave us a little bit of an Easter egg on when it might be, like institutions, investors would be so much happier. So again, this is what is really pushing Lucid down, unfortunately. So that's my 2-minute rant or 4-minute rant, whatever I did go on today. Shorts did return 1.62 million shares. 27.54% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 243.94 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost of our average 27.04, and then utilization is 96.89. This is why I like to analyze this information, because by shorts returning some shares, that does mean that they're adding buying pressure. So for Lucid to still close in the red, that does go to show that ultimately institutions aren't really buying. There was a lot of institutions actually selling. So not the best chain of events, like I said, but still hopefully something does change, at least in Lucid's case, whether it be marketing or just new catalysts, ESS, or partnerships. So hopefully they do give us some information to really grasp onto in the short term. Aside from that, looking at options, 173,000 in calls, 117 in puts. So dollar value wise, I feel like it's going lower and lower. So again, that's something to kind of monitor, but 47% of all the options being done today were bearish. And so of the call options that were purchased today, there's a consensus for it to be above $3. And then looking at puts, you do see a consensus for it to be sub $2.50. And I don't know if this is new or maybe I just didn't really pay attention to it, but it does look as though market makers added the 50-cent strike price, because I believe, I could be wrong, or maybe I just didn't really pay attention to it, but the 50-cent strike price does seem rather new. So I don't know if that does mean that market makers are anticipating that Lucid could go down to 50 cents, or possibly if it's been there this whole time. So let me know your thoughts if that is around, because even looking at the open interest, there's absolutely nothing. So you can kind of see right here, open interest, 8,000, that's as of January the 17th, but that could have been purchased today. So I don't know, something is kind of peculiar when it comes down to that. Dark pool has been relatively quiet over this last little bit on the actual chart itself. So with it closing at $2.73, it is trading between this S1 and the pivot. So we do know, similar to yesterday, this S1 is a very strong support. So just watch for that to continue to hold into next week. So again, $2.70, vice versa, $2.80 is going to be the next strong resistance slash target. But if this 270 does fail to hold, then 264 and then 253 will be the next strong support point. So just kind of take note of that. Still, luckily enough, above that 50-day moving average. So things are at least okay, and conveniently that is exactly around that 270 mark is that 50-day moving average. So definitely stay tuned for that and kind of hope and pray that does continue to hold. But moving on though, looking at stochastic, you do see a start of a bearish deviation. So very, very minor, but red line above the white as well. It is at 42. So it's not really considered overbought or oversold, somewhat neutral for that. But the sentiment itself is kind of piggybacking based off the options, which is bearish. So a lot of the data points I'm kind of talking on so far are bearish. And this is why I like to analyze this information, because it gives you a good overview of where things might be going. And so essentially today as well, payroll did come out first thing. So you can kind of see right here, it did come in a little bit higher than the forecast. So 272 versus a 182. So generally that is good and optimistic, but the market wants bad data. So bad data equates to rate cuts. So I don't know, we're just kind of stuck in limbo. And in my opinion, maybe the next broad catalyst that could really in turn help Lucid would be rate cuts. So potentially during the September 18th meeting that might occur. And retail didn't really do all that much. I didn't do all that much with Lucid, and I haven't even been doing any options. I've just been holding my position and just waiting for it to do something. And so given the circumstances of how it's going, I think the next buying opportunity for myself would be sub $2.50. But even if that does happen, it would be a very, very slippery slope. I know a lot of people like to always just throw out saying that, hey, I'm going to buy at $2, but keep in mind, if it goes down to $2 or something like that, like if it is on one of these death spirals that Lucid likes to go on, yeah, you can easily say right now that you'd buy it too, but would you really? So I don't know, Lucid is a very unique circumstance. I really do like the product and the technology itself. Just a lot of other aspects of Lucid, I feel like that does need to change unless there is maybe a partnership that does come out sooner rather than later. And then obviously that would change the dynamic of everything. But nonetheless, let me know your thoughts on Lucid. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. Stay tuned for my video over this weekend on some expectations for this upcoming week and where I see things going based on all the data points and all the other fun jazz. And one final thing, take advantage of this promo as well. Simply sign up for a new account, throw $100 at it, and they give you 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. So this is a kick-ass deal. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.